It's been 110 days since Hurricane Helene ripped through western North Carolina, and you're not going to believe the visual destruction here in Fletcher, North Carolina, in this neighborhood still after all this time. Here we have just trash everywhere. That home back there, you can see just the water ripped right through it. The creek, Hooper's Creek, is right back there. And actually where I live is about 300 yards as the crow flies back that way. I actually didn't know that this neighborhood came this close to the creek, and I didn't know that these people were in such bad shape back here. In total, there's 25 homes back here who have been severely damaged and are in some phase of the rebuild. Most of them right now are in a demolition sort of situation. So yesterday I filmed an interview with the owner of this home right behind me. Her name is Hope. I'm going to share that interview with you ASAP, but I wanted to give you a quick preview of the neighborhood and the destruction and what's going on down here. So right here you can see this little culvert behind me, that little creek that's just a trickle. That is the creek that caused a good portion of the destruction to all these homes that are around me. And every home that you see here right now around me is not in livable condition still 110 days after the storm. It's unreal to think about how much progress these people still need to make. And a big part of that is because these folks didn't have flood insurance. One of the families out of all these 25 homes in this neighborhood that got that severe damage actually had flood insurance, because it's just something that people don't have around here. You know, we're up here in the mountains and we got these little creeks that are right next to us. Hooper's Creek is just a little trickle on most days, but it turned into about 300-yard wide river during the peak of the storm. So behind me is a home that might have taken it among the worst in this neighborhood. It actually was back there as the foundation, and it spun around 90 degrees and is now placed over here. And you can see that the water just ripped through this building. Get some close-up visuals of this. And let's look what it did, all the debris and all the water, how it just ripped through this little piece of forest here. A lot of this debris that we're seeing didn't even come from this neighborhood. It came from upstream. And you can see that house there also moved off its foundation, totally destroyed, total loss. A camper over there. I mean, look at the debris that just traveled downstream and ended up all out here. It's just shocking and disappointing and honestly depressing to think what these folks went through the day of the storm and the days right after the storm. And here we are 110 days later, and we're talking about homes that are still not livable, and in many cases are far from being livable. You can see here that the front porch of that house got ripped off and went downstream there. So as I said, I filmed an interview with Hope yesterday at this home here. The home is completely demoed. I'll show you some more tomorrow. We did a tour of the home, did a tour of the property, and we're going to be raising some money through her GoFundMe to help with the rebuild. Right now, what she urgently needs is funds to get some dumpsters in the front yard. And you've heard me say this before in other videos, but dumpsters are hard to get right now. They're very expensive. There's often waiting lists to get them. But what we're going to need is probably, depending on how big they are, somewhere between 4 and 7 dumpsters for Hope and her family to start digging out of all this trash. And we'll get a close-up look at what I'm talking about here. So I've linked Hope's GoFundMe at chris@peak.com, or if you can click the link in my profile, you'll see Hope's GoFundMe linked at the top of my website. And those funds are going to go right to, first, to getting all this debris out the front yard. And then the next thing will be to get some HVAC under there, because obviously, you know, everything under the house, including HVAC, was ruined. So heat and air conditioning. But first up, we need to get all this debris out of here. Got a quote for $350 per dumpster yesterday. And that doesn't even cover what it's going to cost to have people come and rip out all the insulation and ductwork underneath the house, and then of course to reinstall HVAC, furnace and all that sort of stuff, which could be somewhere around $20,000. So if you can help, that would be great. Hope and her family really need that. Their hope is to get back into the home by May, which is wild because that's still, gosh, that's still 5 months away. And we're already over 3 months, almost 4 months into this thing. So the need is urgent, the need is great. If you can donate $20, $40, $50, that'd be awesome. Again, the GoFundMe is linked in this video down below, or go to chris@peak.com. You'll find it if you go to my profile. If you can donate, I'd appreciate it a ton. This neighborhood's gonna need a lot of help, and we're gonna do what we can to help.